Souls-like genre taking on the gaming industry by storm, a player's skills are continually put to the test as difficulty forces you to learn across numerous deaths. However, this could end up falling apart based on whether or not you can get the hang of punishing systems and prevail. Developer Lightbulb Crew doesn't shy away from the challenging aspects of their turn-based RPG Othercide, but they've also created a game flow that invites players of all skills to try again without being too punishing.
Suffering festers within him. The edge of reality frays.
Othercide is set in a gothic high fantasy setting of monochromatic visuals and demolished cityscapes corrupted by beings that wish to destroy it all. This universe, however, is defended by a powerful and graceful being known as the Mother, but as the battle rages on for years, the Mother is finally at her limits. With the last of her strength, she echoes her powers into warriors called the Daughters, that not only mirror her abilities, but can become more powerful after her death by the recollection of her mother's memories. It is now up to the Daughters to confront the sadistic chosen one of suffering before he ends the world. The narrative does well to directly introduce the tense and bleak scenario of which the players had to interact with. Time is short as the world-ending event known as the Suffering approaches. The Daughters only have a set amount of days during each era to defeat a boss for temporary peace before the next one shows up. Surprisingly, the context of the fallen Daughters only grows stronger after each death flowed naturally with the narrative, and it also made it seem like I was directly affecting the pacing. Aside from the story, the two main attractions of Othercide's unique features are the revival and the dynamic timeline system. Each time all characters are defeated, they are sent back to day one. Still, they don't lose their remembrances, which are the foundational stat boosters that range from additional skill boosts, 1 revival coin, or more damage against an enemy class. When players earn revivals from rescuing Bright Souls, they can bring back a daughter with her level, skills, and traits intact. This effectively gives players a better understanding of the combat as they learn from their failures and have improved stats to overcome previously stronger enemies. The dynamic timeline system is the strategic mechanic that players use to see and manipulate whose turn is next. Not only are the Daughters and the enemies on the timeline, but the active abilities that mark when the upcoming attacks are going to strike. Players also have to look out for movement and skills that drain AP points, as using more than 50 points moves Daughters further down the timeline, vulnerable to the entire enemy force surrounding them. This information can be used to determine what moves and counters are best for avoiding or delivering the most damage. Additionally, those attacks and boosts are divided into different types of abilities depending on when they become active. Usable abilities are separated by instant, delay, interruption, and reaction, each manipulating the timeline in some way. For attacks that are not used immediately, they appear on the timeline, giving the player a chance to stop or avoid them. Also, attacks can move characters up and down the timeline, like a powerful bashing attack that delays enemies' placement, or a magic spell that switches placement with a fellow daughter. Both features paired together make Othercide one big game of chess, as all these actions in and out of battle determine your next few steps in order to win. A perfect battle means resources can be used to add boosters to skills, while a messy battle means those same resources are used to birth more level 1 daughters or sacrifice a daughter to heal each other. As for upgrades, Othercide has multiple ways to increase a player's chance of winning after several losses. As mentioned before, there are recollections earned after battles and deaths, and memories that are boosters for each skill a daughter has. The more interesting upgrade are called traits that are randomly assigned to daughters based on their performance and abilities during battles. The intention from Lightbulb Crew was to give each daughter a personality, which I think is sufficient enough to tell the difference between those who happen to share the same hair, class, and name. However, the more common traits are eventually seen many times. While on the topic of common elements, there are many instances where daughters' traits, spoken dialogue, and cutscenes are seen and heard multiple times before I even got to the first boss. This usually won't be a problem in other games, especially if it were something that could be skipped. But by design, Othercide is meant to be repeated many times, yet I can't skip the death scene transition to a new recollection. Also, during battles, there are certain enemy types that spawn on the map where the mother will repeat short descriptions that have become old for me quickly when spawning multiples in a row. The same can be said about daughters' names, as my playthrough had plenty of Claires in my roster, though it doesn't become an issue for those who opt to change their daughters' names before birthing them and deleting weaker daughters from the cemetery.
Life unworthy of life feeds our inquiry. What we do is a mercy to the world. A mercy.
Othercide is a fresh take on the turn-based strategy that presents a unique approach to the genre, full of challenging moments of strategic combat. With the influx of similar titles, Othercide manages to stand out through its dark and gorgeous themes, paired with the memorable narrative. There are moments of the game flow that can be improved on, but I rarely have been this eager to jump back into a game about suffering a loss. Noisy Pixels giving Othercide an 8.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Noisy Pixel is ran by a group of gamers who work hard to give you news, reviews, previews, and more. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to keep up with all of our latest videos.